I ask you some questions?
Sure, go ahead.
What's your name, please?
My name is Sam.
Are you a student?
Yes, I am a third-year student, and I'm studying at the University of Mining and Geology.
Where you come from?
I come from Isan province.
So you come from the province, don't you?
That's right.
Now that, what time do you usually get up in the morning?
I usually get up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
What do you usually do after getting up?
I usually have breakfast after getting up.
How long does it take you to have breakfast?
It takes me about 30 minutes to have breakfast.
So it takes you about 30 minutes to have breakfast.
That's right.
What do you usually do after having breakfast?
I usually go to school after having breakfast.
What time do you usually go to school?
I usually go to school at 7:30.
So you usually go to school at 7:30.
That's right.
What do you usually do after going to school?
I usually come back home after going to school.
What time do you usually come back home?
I usually come back home at 11:30.
So you usually come back home at 11:30.
That's right.
What do you usually do after coming back home?
I usually have lunch after coming back home.
How long does it take you to have lunch?
It takes me about 20 minutes to have lunch.
So it takes you about 20 minutes to have lunch.
That's right.
What do you usually do after having lunch?
I usually wash up after having lunch.
How long does it take you to have wash up?
It takes me about 10 minutes to wash up.
So it takes you about 10 minutes to wash up.
That's right.
What do you usually do after washing up?
I usually take a nap after washing up.
What time do you usually take a nap?
I usually take a nap at 12:30.
So you usually take a nap at 12:30.
That's right.
What do you usually do after taking a nap?
I usually do the homework after taking a nap.
What time do you usually do the homework?
I usually do the homework at 1 o'clock.
So you usually do the homework at 1 o'clock.
That's right.
What do you usually do? What do you usually do after doing the homework?
I usually listen to music after doing the homework.
What time do you usually listen to music?
I usually listen to music at 3 o'clock.
So you usually listen to music at 3 o'clock.
That's right.
What do you usually do after listening to music?
I usually do the washing after listening to music.
What time do you usually do the washing?
I usually do the washing at 4 o'clock.
So you usually do the washing at 4 o'clock.
That's right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How about you? What's your name, please?
My name is Trang.
Are you a student?
Yes, I am. I'm a first-year student, and I'm studying at the Academy Finance.
Where you come from?
I come from the province.
So you come from the province, don't you?
That's right.
May I ask you some questions?
Sure, go ahead.
What time you usually get up in the morning?
I usually get up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
What do you usually do after getting up?
I usually have breakfast after getting up.
How long does it take you to have breakfast?
It takes me about 30 minutes to have breakfast.
So it takes you about 30 minutes to have breakfast.
That's right.
What do you usually do after having breakfast?
I usually go to school after having breakfast.
What time do you usually go to school?
I usually go to school at 7 o'clock.
So you usually go to school at 7 o'clock.
That's right.
What do you usually do after going to school?
I usually come back home after going to school.
What time do you usually come back home?
I usually come back home at 12 o'clock.
So you usually come back home at 12 o'clock.
That's right.
What do you usually do after coming back home?
I usually have lunch after coming back home.
How long does it take you to have lunch?
It takes me 20 minutes to have lunch.
So it takes you about 20 minutes to have lunch.
That's right.
What do you usually do after having lunch?
I usually wash up after having lunch.
How long does it take you to wash up?
It takes me about 10 minutes to wash up.
So it takes you about 10 minutes to wash up.
That's right.
What do you usually do after washing up?
I usually take a nap after washing up.
What time do you usually take a nap?
I usually take a nap at 1 o'clock.
So you usually take a nap at 1 o'clock.
That's right.
What do you usually do after taking a nap?
I usually do the homework after taking a nap.
What time do you usually do the homework?
I usually do the homework at 3 o'clock.
So you usually do the homework at 3 o'clock.
That's right.
What do you usually do after doing the homework?
I usually play sports after doing the homework.
What time do you usually play sports?
I usually play sports at 5 o'clock.
So you usually play sports at 5 o'clock.
That's right.
What do you usually do after play sports? What do you usually do after play sports?
I usually have dinner after playing sports.
What time do you usually have dinner?
I usually have dinner at 7 o'clock.
So you usually have dinner at 7 o'clock.
That's right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
早餐。
拜拜。